Chris, what's the most important thing about training on the moor?
What I find is the most important thing when coming up on the moor. Oh, I know. The most important thing when you come up on the moor is to bring a 4x4. That saves you walking, Mark. I find what you really need on the moor in this sort of weather, and on a day like today, when training with Mark, is a sense of humour. And here's Mark with his 3 dogs up on the moor on his own, very lonely, looking for people to train with. Such a lonely life. Oh, wait, can you whistle them to you and stop them when I ask you to? When you're ready.
Jack.
Stop them. Next dog.
Max. Max. Max.
Next dog.
Moss, come here.
Stop him.
Tick.
Overtraining over here. This is Moss. This is Jack. And this is Trouble.
He's alright.
What's his name? Mag. This is Max. This is Mad Max. Look at the eye on Max. Look very carefully at the eye on Max. Get out.
Alright.
Pick it up. Get out. Lost! Lost! Sit. Get out. Get out. Lost there. Sit. Good boy. Switch it on then.
Okay.
Get out. Get out. Lost there. Dead. Good lad. Lovely. Get out. Get out. Get out. Hello. here. Dead. Good boy. Dead. Good boy. Good lad. Come here. Good boy. Good lad. Lars? Good boy. Good lad. So Mark, now the sun's come out, what do you think? Let's go. Hey, you're walking back. So who is this guy? Who is this client? I met Mark about 17 years ago, 16 years ago. He started coming to the training classes when I was taking training classes for the Cornwall Field Trial Society down at Lanhydrock. And he started turning up without a dog. And he used to stop and watch and listen and ask questions. And then he started off with the very liver dog there, the darker liver dog there. And then he got the real white dog on the left hand side, and then he got the youngster in the middle. And I trained him and his dogs, all three completely different dogs, and it showed him the difference between the dogs, of how different they are. But you couldn't ask for a nicer person to train with. You had to be gentle on Mark. Mark was a sensitive soul. You couldn't put too much pressure on him. But he wanted to learn, he was keen, and he got his dogs to a good standard. And that's because he was committed to doing it. He used to come every week without fail. We've had so many lessons together over the years, it's unbelievable. But like I say, some clients become friends, and some people you never forget and you keep in contact with. Now Mark became disillusioned because of a number of reasons, and I won't go into them because that's personal between Mark and the trialing world and the competition world and the shooting world and the situation at home with his dogs. But what I'm saying is, when he was doing it, he put so much into it and he loved it and he thoroughly enjoyed it. Now he hasn't got that feeling. He's quite content now not to do it, not to play this game, because if you get your dog to a good standard and you're not being asked to run your dog in competition by the local clubs because they've stitched it up and they're only asking each other and it's mates after mates, it doesn't give you a incentive. If he'd gone on to be asked to run his dogs that they knew they were in good standard because he'd won tests with them, he may have really got the bug and gone further with it. The same with Lanhydrock, the same with the shoots we went on to. He loved them to begin with, but they changed, and the personalities changed, the people there changed, Some people, it starts off as a fun thing, and everybody's having a great time and everyone's interested in the same thing, and then money comes into it and it changes people and it changes the situation. But you can't take away from the fact that this guy was one of the keenest people, and he studied the training. He was so interested in it. He watched every video you put in front of him, and he got his dogs to a very, very good standard. And like I say, he became a friend. He became a friend that you could go out with. You could have a chat. He was quite a reserved lad, but he had a lovely, typical Cornish, dry sense of humour. And I got on with him really, really well. I always appreciate and think of the times that we spent together training, as well as socialising, as mates, like. And he would do anything to help you, and vice versa. That's what you do to the people. You always remember the people who supported you. And when I was struggling, he supported me 100%, and his wife. And when I say struggling, when I was getting all the backlash from all the idiots out there thinking that you train dogs with love and affection, anybody who uses any discipline. And I can tell you one thing, he loved his dogs, but he would use discipline, and he used discipline because he knew it worked at the right time. And like I say, he got his dogs to a good standard. He trialled his dogs as well as tested his dogs. And at the end of the day, he put the commitment into them. And if you've got to put the commitment into them. And at that time, I think this was about 6-7 years ago, maybe this video. But I can go back with Mark 15 years because 2 of those dogs are dead now. But at the end of the day, it's memories. These videos are memories, and that's what they're there for. They're to show people, gun dog people have got a similar interest. And so when you work together, and especially when you work with someone like Mark, who's got his dogs to a good standard, you can put the dogs under greater temptation, sending one, stopping the other. That's why what I want to do is when I bring down the training seminar, I want the guys to work with each other and put their dogs under pressure in the field out there. Work it, because that's when you really test your dog, whether you've got that skill. It's easy doing it in the battlefield with just you and the dog, but it's knowing whether you've got that drive and that desire, and you've got the control as well at the right time. Now, I think that this is a youngster here, but he's still got everything in the training. It's about getting that keenness and getting that dog to want to play the game. It doesn't matter that it's not straight in. Everybody's got this obsession. It's got to be on a place ball. It's got to be dominant. It's got to be a regimental soldier. No, it doesn't. Let it enjoy it. Let it want to play the game. That's what this is about. It's about wanting to play the game, enjoying life. If the dog wants to be with you, and it's a little bit sticky like this one is to begin with, don't worry about it. It wasn't sticky when I'd finished training it. But it was learning. It's going to learn to put its head down and find that ball. It's not putting pressure on the dog, but having fun with the dog. The dog's enjoying being with you, and that's what it's about. It's about you having fun, the dog having fun. If you're not having fun, don't do it, because the dog's not going to enjoy it if you're not enjoying it. The idea is you've got to be friendly with those dogs. You've got, Mark was a very reserved lad, and I had to tell him to be friendly, and then I had to tell him to be assertive at the right time. And it's balance. It's all to do with balance. And he would say it to you himself if he was still in the game, because some of the videos that we did together were fantastic. We've lost so many of them, but some of them I'm managing to find them and still go back over, putting them up for you. These are old videos, but they're important videos to us because we train together. We got dogs to a good standard, and people, I wouldn't say would fear you when you went into competition, but they would respect you when you went into competition because they knew you were going to be in the awards. And that's the whole point. The whole point of it is was the trialing that important to me? No, it wasn't. What was more important is helping people, because I'd seen how people are struggling and how people are messing dogs up. So reaching out and helping people, and that's where Mark met me, at the training class, helping the club, helping the committee, the club that shit on me. As simple as that. I did so much for that club, and that club shit on me. But hey, that's life, isn't it? You have to move on. But don't let things make you bitter, because you go through a stage of really feeling resentful about things, but then you come out the other side and think, hang on, there were some good times. Take the good times and just don't worry about the bad times. Move on. There's plenty of more things to do in life. This one here, he looks like a
Come on,
sheepdog,
now
doesn't
the
he?
sun's come out,
But he
what do you
wasn't.
think?
It wasn't a sheepdog. But Mark had a
Let's
dry
go.
sense of humour. Here he is.
Hey, you're walking
Hope you
back.
enjoy these videos. Cheers.